I can barely fucking see y'all because I'm trying to take advantage of this sun, but the sun is trying to take advantage of me at the same time. That barely made a difference, but it's okay. It's whatever. What's up, y'all? My name is Corey J, and today I'm going to talk to y'all about why I like blowing bubbles and why I think that you should start blowing bubbles too, if you don't already. I had this video idea in mind for a little bit, but I just came from a walk with my mom and I was blowing bubbles. My mom is so fucking dramatic. Like, I'm blowing the bubbles, right? And it's like going everywhere. And the bubbles are getting in her face a little bit. And she's talking about some, I can't, I can't breathe and coughing and shit. I'm like, mommy, you not gonna what are you talking about? She talking about some the bubbles smothering her. What is she talking about? What is she talking about? Anyway, she's so dramatic. And then she asked me, why do I like blowing bubbles? And that type of question coming from like a parent, it meant a lot to me, because it's like, wow, you really care. Like, that's a question that you ask when you actually care, and like when you're actually want to know, when you're curious. And I told her why, which I'm about to tell y'all, and it reminded me of this video. So I was like, you know what? I got time. The only goal that I have for today is drinking all of my water out of my jug. So like, why not sit down and record this video real quick? Especially because I have just been reminded of it. So here we are. So I guess thank you, mom, for inspiring me to finally record this video. I want to open up with a little anecdote. Because y'all know my favorite thing is to yap. One time in senior year of high school, I was talking to this dumb boy, and we were in a phase of something that could have been a relationship type of thing, just trying to get to know each other. And one day we're at school, we're chilling, talking, and I start blowing bubbles. This lame ass nigga gonna talk about some, oh, are you really blowing bubbles right now? Aren't you a senior? That's really childish and blah blah. Like, trying to hate on my joy. How, like, just think about that. Oh, it's a little bird in the corner of the yard. Just think about how fucking miserable you have to be to go shit on somebody else's joy. And over blowing bubbles of all things. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, aren't you 23 trying to talk to a high schooler? I'm sorry. Ugh. I'm so glad I never gave that nigga a chance. I'm so glad that he is not in my life. And like, genuinely, you have to be a very miserable person to try to shit on somebody else having fun. Like, this is not, nigga thought this was the thug tug in fucking SpongeBob.
You all know the rules.
All bubble-blowing babies will be beaten senseless by every able-bodied patron in the bar.
And that goes for all of you. This is not that. This is not the thug tug, and this is not the salty splatoon. This is literally SpongeBob house. Get your negativity the fuck out of there. And that day, I was like, I'm finna blow bubbles extra hard, no homo. But I'm gonna do it extra because of people like you. It's a resistance thing at this point. You trying to tear me down, fucked around and gave me a whole new reason to blow bubbles. You know what I'm saying? But let me talk to y'all about my other reasons why I like blowing bubbles and why I think you should start as well. Number one being, essentially blowing bubbles is you breathing, taking deep breaths, taking deep intentional breaths. I don't have my glasses on, but it looks like it's a bird right there, like looking at me. It's not a bird. I think it's a piece of plant. Y'all, it is hard being blind. It is hard being like needing glasses to see. I'm not gonna take this as an opportunity to crash out about being blind. Let's refocus on the bubbles. Like I was saying, you're blowing bubbles, you're taking deep intentional breaths, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you're like me. When I blow bubbles, I take a really deep breath because I'm winding up. I'm fixing to blow as many bubbles as possible with one breath. And if you already know, you know that breath is very powerful when it comes to grounding yourself and resetting or calming down like your nervous system, you know what I'm saying? So even in a psychological, even in a wellness way, blowing bubbles can be very beneficial to you and your body. I was talking to my therapist the other day, and recently we've been talking about grounding techniques and coping mechanisms, specifically catered for me. And I was talking to her about how I have developed this habit of like blowing bubbles just like as a hobby type of thing, and I really like blowing bubbles. Like I've been blowing bubbles since like 10th grade, maybe 11th grade, I don't know. But like it was a common thing for me to have bubbles in my purse. You know what I'm saying? Cuz I need that shit on me. And when I said that, she was like, actually, like makes a lot of sense because there is a grounding technique, like a breath practice that mimics or is inspired by the act of blowing bubbles. You know what I'm saying? And I haven't looked into it yet, but I was like, wow, like that just kind of makes things come full circle. Like, yeah, it makes sense. It makes me feel good, you know, physically and mentally. It's very calming. I think everybody should fucking blow bubbles. On top of some type of breath work that bubble blowing has, I love watching the bubbles drift off, and it kind of gives the sense of, damn, I forget the word. Um, is it sonder? When you're like, wow, other people have their own lives type of thing. It's like when you see the bubbles drift off and they go their separate ways, even if they're in the same area, they're under the same current of wind, you can still see like little things influence their path. Like one might get stuck on a tree branch, or one might get swept away by the current going left, and then the current changes but it's too far away, so it keeps going that direction while the other ones get taken away in this new current, you know. um Even seeing the living things around me interact with the bubbles, I don't know why my dog and my cat, they are terrified of bubbles. And the other day I had blew some bubbles, and I think it was either a rabbit or a squirrel. The bubbles blew into like there's a land of trees and bushes and shrubbery. The squirrel hauled ass. Like it didn't even know what the fuck was going on. I can understand for squirrel too, because like it's probably like, I don't know what it is. You know what I'm saying? But like even seeing stuff like that, you know, seeing the bubbles go and have their own lives, and seeing their lives go have an impact on other living things is really interesting, and it's beautiful. You're just sitting there watching things take place and letting things be out of your control. But there are other reasons on top of that. Bubbles are not just one color, they're very iridescent, and I'm pretty sure iridescent is not a single color because it's a bunch of colors. I just don't know what the fuck it is. But if you could technically call iridescent a color, that would be my favorite color. Every time like my nieces and nephews ask me at least like once a month, like what's my favorite color, you know how kids are, or maybe you don't, but you know, kids ask you your favorite color like every month, like they really are committed to knowing. You know what I'm saying? Every time I'm like, I really don't have a favorite color, but like I really do like purple and green, and I really like yellow, but I also like red and blue. You know what I'm saying? I like all the colors. You know what I'm saying? Iridescent, that has a bunch of colors, and bubbles are that. They're just simply beautiful. Another reason why I love blowing bubbles, which is kind of ironic, but it does fuel my inner child. Like it makes my inner child feel joyful. I really don't know what it is about it. Maybe it is the fact that, you know, we subconsciously assign that activity to childhood. I do not know, but it does make my inner child really happy. And then on top of that, my final reason is that that joy that my inner child gets from blowing bubbles is very contagious. I cannot tell you how many times I'll be on a walk blowing bubbles and some random kids down the street, and this also plays into one of the reasons that I said, like watching them go do their own thing and live their own life and impact other things. You know what I'm saying? Some kids down the street, just seen them because the wind is blowing them, I randomly hear a child, bubbles! And now them and their siblings popping the fucking bubbles. But the specific bubbles that I get, it's by this brand Jaru. I couldn't scan it to see if it was like okay for the environment, because the Yuka app only does like hair products and food and shit like that. But this brand of bubbles is called Grab a Bubble. You literally can grab the bubbles. Like, I'll try to show y'all later, but when I blow these bubbles, so many come out, and like the consistency is so thick. Let me show you real quick. Was that a lot of bubbles? Because it was a lot to me. I'm satisfied with this. But back to what I was saying, yeah, the joy is so contagious. And it really warms me up inside when somebody else can enjoy and appreciate these random ass bubbles. Another story I want to share. One day in junior year, I was going back to class from lunch with my classmates. This was like a dual enrollment class, so it was at a college, not at the high school. And the class was a mix of adults that went to college for that class, and then there were seniors, and then there were juniors. When I tell y'all, I was the only person, I was the only junior in that class. I was the only girl from my high school in that class. The amongst the adults, I think around that time there was maybe one woman in that class, and it was carpentry, so I guess it makes a little bit more sense, but like just trying to paint the picture a little bit. But anyways, we're coming, me and my high school classmates are coming from lunch going back to the class. It's four guys in front of me. They're waiting at the door. I'm behind them maybe like 10 feet or whatever. Really the only senior that had built some type of friendship with me, like pointed behind me. He was like, look, and I'm blowing the bubbles, and I turn around, and it was one of the girls that were part of the like special needs classes, and she was just really excited to pop the bubbles like behind me. She was getting like so excited that she was getting like close to me, look. Like, she was just like locked in on the bubbles, you know what I'm saying? And even though I knew he wasn't pointing behind me to like show me like, oh look, like you're showing, like you're sharing the happiness, like you're making somebody happy right now, you know what I'm saying? Because you know how students get when it comes to like their special needs classmates and stuff like that. But it made me happy, you know. Even if she probably would have bumped into me if we didn't make eye contact, because she was getting a little excited. But like even if she did, it wouldn't have like bothered me, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, that's the fucking point of the bubbles. I just wish that maybe I was a little bit more friendly, because all I did was like smile at her and keep blowing the bubbles to let her know like it's okay. Because she did know that when we made eye contact, she did kind of peep like, oh, maybe I'm doing a little bit too much, like I'm getting a little bit too close to her, you know what I'm saying? So like let me like back up. But I didn't want to like discourage her from interacting with the bubbles, so I kept blowing the bubbles, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know, looking back, I wish that like I at least said hi, or maybe even I gave her the bubbles, because like it was literally like this small shit, you know. And I got siblings, so like if I had one, there's at least maybe 3 at the house that nobody cares about. I guess passing on the joy in that extended way would have made me feel just a little bit better about that memory. But just overall, being able to share the joy from the bubbles makes me kind of warm inside. And it's not just because the fucking sun is so fucking hot right now. Damn it. It was just cold, bro. My call to action is for you to blow bubbles, bitch. Become a bubble blowing baby on a regular. You know what I'm saying? Join the club. If you made it this far in the video, I hope that you not only liked, not only go comment, not only go subscribe, but I hope that you have decided to at least try being a bubble blowing baby with the rest of us, because you will not regret it, I promise. And don't let nobody steal that from you. Miserable people will try to take you down every chance that they get, but you know what we do? That's what we do, right on their forehead. Put it right on their forehead, right there. You know, well, you're on the camera, so it's a little bit weird, but you literally put this part, put your fist on their forehead like that. Unless they're crazy and they'll try to call it like the police for assault or some shit. Don't play with people like that. Like, it's not even worth it. But you know what I'm saying? Just, and do it with a little bit of force to, so where it like tap it. You want to be able to like hear it just a little bit. Anyways, thank y'all for being here. Thank you for listening to me yap about blowing bubbles, and thank you in advance for blowing bubbles. Appreciate that. Until then, I'll talk to y'all later. Peace. Bye.